explorers, and welcome to the live stream tonight. We'll see if this works in just a moment. If you can see me and hear me, just drop a message, then I'll know you're there in the chat. So, how's it going with you guys? Ready to see some cool insects and some seeds that you've never seen before? Well, mostly never seen these two seeds together at once. But let's see who's on and if somebody can hear me. Seems that the issues aren't resolved. Okay, I see it at least moves forward, but we'll see just now whether it's actually skipping or whether it's not. I'm hoping that it's not skipping, because that would just suck. It's counting down. That's also good. That's always good to know. Then we should be starting within the next few moments. Audio but no video. Let's see if that will be fixed within the next few moments. I think it's starting to come through. Looks like it's working. Okay, it's working. Hey, Martin Stank Talks and Angelique, I see you two are in the house. Welcome to the live stream. So tonight we'll be looking at some insects and very cool stuff that I have, some rare insects that you most probably haven't seen before, and then some seeds that I'm really excited to germinate this year. So let's hope it works. So to the insects. I've got a random collection of interesting insects directly in front. I'll show you some of them, talk a bit about some of them, and then we can look into the rare ones that I have here. And then I've got some seed. Marine Tank Joy, you have no audio or video. Oh boy, this is getting interesting. Let's see if this actually works. I see that I might have crashed for a moment there. Let's see if it continues. If it doesn't, I will have to make a plan. Will this help? I doubt it. Okay, I see that it's slowly coming on now. Getting better. Yes, that's good news. So let's see if this continues to get better or not. I hope it keeps on getting better because it's slowly getting there. I can see that it's slowly catching up to me and getting better, being less choppy. So welcome to the live stream, guys. like I've said, I see it was a bit choppy, but there's nice insects that we're going to look at. Then we've got some real cool seeds that we're going to look at. These make me really excited. If you know what these are, then you'll understand why they make me so excited, but we'll get into that a bit later on. So let us start. Firstly, this might be a bad idea what I'm doing now, but let's see if it works. It should work really nicely, nice and clean. If I know what I just wanted to do. So how have you guys been since the last time that we had a live stream and chatted? Fit this better quicker for a moment. Focus in. Very funky. That is good. So let's switch you over. Over there we've got one beautiful, I have no idea what's making the noise though. And if there's less noise going around, I see my audio is picking up way better in this moment, so I think I just fixed that issue. What you can see at this moment is one very beautiful fruit shafer, and that is an excellent example of what a fruit shafer should look like. If I zoom back a bit there, you'll be able to see that it is extremely green, very shiny, very nice, and it is looking excellent. But we'll be getting into this in a few moments later. Let's start off with something that I can show you without the camera, and then we'll see what comes up next. What I have over here let's start with this one. This is baobab seeds. Not just any baobab seeds. These are South African baobabs that you'll find in Limpopo, further north. If you break this open, you find the seeds inside. I don't know if you actually can hear that, but you'll hear the seeds inside. They're completely loose. I still have to break this open, get it all out, and then plant the seeds. After I scarified them, I'll explain it with one of the other ones. But this is specifically a South African baobab, Adonsonia digitata. If you don't know what that is, it's the upside down tree. That's what it's known as in South Africa. And this is a seed pot. I can't figure out where I've put the hundreds of seeds that I have, because I've got hundreds of them lying around somewhere in this room, or I stuffed them into a drawer and I don't remember which one. Not in that one. But this is an excellent tree to plant for bonsai and to everything. Marine tank journey, it's a pleasure. Took a bit of a struggle to figure it out, but we are there. And then when you break this open, the seeds are inside. Interesting enough, this is in Afrikaans known as a cream of tartar tree, kremetaartboom. Because if you take the white stuff that's inside, you'll actually see that you can use this in milk, in food, and things like that. And this is one of nature's natural ones. The ones that you buy in the shop is not natural because you can't harvest that amount from trees, which is kind of sad because this is way better. Martin, I see that the video is still lagging. Let's see. If it makes a difference now. Don't know if this is going to make it better. I'm trying my best. And this over here is Adonsonia Gregory. This is the Adonsonia from, or the Baobab tree that comes from Australia. So it's quite interesting. The difference between the two as seedlings are quite clear, because the indigenous Baobab gives you normal single leaves the moment that it comes out, and for the first bunch of years it gives you that. It doesn't give you a proper seed pod later on, or it doesn't give you proper leaves, the big palmate leaves that they have characteristically as the big trees, until they're a few years old. Whereas these ones from Australia actually gives you the palmate leaves from very, very small, which is really awesome, because what that does is it causes you to score on the fact that you can have a small bonsai with the palmate leaves, making it look more like an actual baobab tree from the seed than it does when you grow the South African one, which is quite sad. But most of the times the South African stuff are better, because you always hear that Australian stuff wants to kill you. You see, the problem is in Africa they do kill you, they don't want to. But with the baobabs, this one is way better because it allows us to have tiny baobab seeds, or tiny baobab bonsais that we can grow. And as you can see, quite a few seeds of them. I'm gonna try and germinate a bunch of them now, literally this weekend, because hello there, Martin. I see that things are going better now. Did you guys miss the first part of the baobab seeds? Should I explain it again? Or is it all good? If I need to explain it again, drop a comment in there, and then I'll tell you about the bonsais and the seeds in this moment. So these seeds are really cool because they can go through an elephant's gut, come out the other side, and then germinate in the elephant poop, which is, for a seed, that's quite interesting, because the external shell of these seeds are so hard that you actually need to scarify them before you plant them, because if you don't scarify them, they don't grow. Yes, someone else that does bonsais. Hey, Marine Tank Journey, that is awesome. But these will get there faster, Martin, because they get the palmate leaves. You can push them to look like a smaller bonsai, which decreases the time that you need to actually get it to look proper. Where the South African one, you need a big one, but to get to a big one takes you longer, and to get that size takes way longer. I would say this one from seed, 15 to 20 years before it starts looking alright. This one, I'll say you should be able, and I'm guesstimating here, most probably 8 to 12 years. Then you should be able to have a really nice bonsai. The important thing is that I don't get these seeds mixed up, because that is going to be very confusing. So the difference between the two, I see you guys missed that slightly due to the lag and it being slow. South African baobab, Adonsonia digitata. Australian baobab, Adonsonia gregori. These come from Australia, from South Africa. The difference between the two comes in when you look at the leaves in small plants. There's other differences as well, but I don't know them as clearly. And the African ones get way thicker and bigger, and so it's quite interesting. These get way taller, but not as thick and massive, if I'm not mistaken. But with the leaves in the two is that the South African baobab gets big single leaves for the first few years of its life, until it reaches a certain size. Then it starts making the palmate leaves. Palmate leaves literally meaning it's a leaf with one petiole and then 5 tips at the end, which is really cool. But these ones, the second leaf that it pushes out after germinating is actually palmate. So you can make a tiny bonsai of this with palmate leaves that it actually looks like a true bonsai, which makes it way, way cooler. Marine tank journey, unfortunately this is all that I have currently. I need to germinate them. I might be able to get you some to source a bigger tree that's a year or 2 old maybe. I'll just have to talk to the people that have them and see if they're going for sale. So let's hope it happens. Thanks for hitting that like button, guys. That really helps me out and you guys. So let's get into the insects. I've shown you that one, and I've seen that if I turn on this camera it causes lag on the system, so we're going to try it differently this time. Need lines. Left hand do line, right hand do movement. Way better. So there is a green fruit chafer, emerald green fruit chafer, and this is one of the epic species that I'll be starting to get a lot of them within the next 2 months again, because December, January, February, a lot of people asks me, where do these come from and what are they doing on my peach tree? Because these eat it up completely. They kill the peaches and they they just destroy your peach tree completely. So you have to spray for them if you don't want them, but it stays a really nice beetle, so I don't understand what the people's problem is with it. Thank you very much, Martin. If you want to know why I'm saying thank you to Martin, guys, go check down in in the comments. We'll get into that at a later stage. Yes, entomology, the study of ants. I also have some ants. I need to feed them tonight or tomorrow most probably. But it's always really good to see that other people are also keeping ants. The ants keep things alive and keep it going, and they are active throughout the year, any temperature, and they don't give any trouble. So that is quite awesome. One of the other insects that I have is a massive... Why am I doing it that way? Think before you do. It usually helps. Is one massive longhorn beetle, or longhorn beetle. Obviously I haven't slept enough. That is one really massive dung beetle that will dig a hole, go down, but you'll see it actually hurt its thorax there, and it chipped a piece off right about there. It chipped off a piece of the thorax, so it doesn't look as nice, but it's an interesting specimen because to find something like this that lives through it is really cool. So it's an interesting specimen, not the perfect one for a collection, but they look really good. Yes, Angelique, that is true. The emerald green fruit chafers do destroy fig trees as well, but they're cool and they're pretty, so just leave them alone. They entitled to eat the fruit. I feel they've got more right than we do. Just trying to decide what I want to show you next, because there's so many cool stuff next to me. Let's show you the difference between 2 emerald green fruit shapers. Let's make it 3. As far as I can tell, these are all exactly the same species, so it's quite interesting to see the color differences that they have, and the size differences. There you can actually see 3 of them next to each other now. The moment I figure out my coordination, you'll be able to see them better. And as I move the light, you'll see that the one on the very right, I think it's the very right, the furthest side from my hand, on the far side over there, that is actually a very, very goldish, reddish one. The middle one is like solid metallic green, and the one on the closest to my hand on this side is like in between the two somewhere, and he lost a leg in the process. I think it's the same species. I might be wrong with this, but as far as my knowledge goes, this is the same species, and they look quite epic. I'm trying to get a full collection of all the colors and the sizes to see how different they can actually be, but they look really cool. Do you guys have any questions on other insects while I'm busy? I just have like a small show pad, which makes it easier to show you the insect than to try and hold them by the needle, because if I hold them by the pin and I show them to you, they are more difficult for you guys to see the details and stuff. So that's why I use the small pad. So it just takes a moment to put them on and off again. And then over to, I've shown you one of these last time, but this one I didn't pin as nicely. I tried to be very, very lazy pinning this one. Your left, got it. So Benji, I see that you're trying to start an ant colony, but your queens won't lay eggs. You found her with the wings drop, and you've been waiting for 3 months. In which part of the world do you live? Because that could give me an indication to what is happening with the ants, and exactly what the biology is behind them not laying eggs yet. So tell us the Martin's tank journey or marine tank journey. That would be really nice if you tell us. The question that you asked is very nice. What species, and then where are you located in the world? Because where you're located in the world is going to make a huge difference in the answer that I give you. So if you give us that, then we can really help you. While I'm waiting for the answer, I'll show you the really cool wasp. You remember the one of the other day? It actually had like open wings, and it was nice and flat, looking really gorgeous. This is what happens when an entomologist gets lazy, and he just sticks a needle through it, spreads the legs, and then he's happy with it as is. Then you get something like that, which personally, it's not the perfect specimen. It doesn't look as nice as that other one. Its wings are clearly visible to you guys now, but no, those wings should be nice and flat so you can admire them in full. Got another one really badly pinned next to me that I won't show you guys. One thing that very few people know is that my favorite insects are the extremely tiny stuff that you find. So it's something like the following 3, and pinning them, I don't think patience even is the correct word with it. It's a lot of time and a lot of patience, like a lot. And I can promise you the first small ones that you catch, like the first 1,000 you break, and then it's issues and you don't like it at all. Formica my Latin is struggling tonight. Cinerea in Germany. So if I'm not mistaken, in Germany you're now going into winter, correct? Because if that's the case, you will need to wait until spring next year before she's actually going to lay eggs. Because what they do is the queens go into a, I want to say, an almost dormant state. And what happens in that dormant state is that they don't lay eggs. They literally just wait for temperatures to climb up again to be warmer for them to lay eggs, because it's easier to rear the eggs or the larvae through to ants in slightly warmer conditions, because their metabolism is faster and the female doesn't have to generate heat during the warmer times of the year to feed the young and to move around. So at this time she'll mostly just sit still until spring and then she'll lay eggs. Many of the Formica species I know do that because they're very closely related to the, is it Anoplolepis, or what's the other one? I've got no clue at this exact moment, but it's known that it happens with Formica that they go through an overwintering period before they lay eggs again, which it sucks, but at least you've got a nice queen, and if she's still alive and dropped her wings, it means that she's most probably mated, which is always a good thing. Back to the tiny insects. Tiny insects. You can see that thing's smaller than my fingernail. This one and this one are both small little leaf hoppers with cool head extension and headgear. It looks like they've got like massive helmets on. And then that one, oh, sorry guy, that's not a good job. That one is a small little weevil, also maybe the size of my pinky nail if we test. Maybe, I don't think so. I don't know if you're gonna see the headgear of those other two, but they've got like massive horns and things. That there you can see the middle one's horns slightly, and the one in the front you can see he's got like two tiny horns. But that is what I live for. I love tiny insects and I love pinning them. Just because they're so tiny, you can put them under the microscope and then wow people by what they're actually seeing underneath the microscope, because to see the detail in that under a microscope is something that most people always miss. I will try and take some awesome photos of these in the near future that you guys can see them. So it should be quite easy. Keegan, you ask difficult questions this time of night. I'll get back to your question. Just give my mind a moment to think. Benji, will she survive the hibernation in a test tube? And should you change the water for new water, or should you give her a drop of honey? Generally speaking, I never ever feed my ants when they're hibernating, because it could confuse them and she can like start laying eggs in the middle of winter, which could cause them to die. But I will say if the water starts running out in the test tube, then you need to move her to a new test tube, but that will be done by connecting the two test tubes. How far is test tubes? Test tubes be very far. Let's see what I can do. Quickly checking for test tube. These are all previously used test tubes, so please excuse the state that they're in. They are not clean and they definitely do not look well. But these are test tubes that I used previously and that the ants have moved out. So to explain to you, Benji, what happens, what you need to do, as you can see, these were used and then I moved the ants out of them, so two empty test tubes at this point, one with a little bit of water still. So how you would do that, moving your queen from one test tube to the next, is if she's in this test tube and you see the water's running low like that, then you prepare a new one. let's say there's water in there. I know there's nothing in there, but let's say there's water in there. Then what you're going to do is you're going to remove the cotton from this one. You're going to connect them end to end. You can do it with a small piece of tape or something just to keep them in place. And then you're going to cover up the new test tube completely, and you're going to put a bright light on this one. Incandescent bulb usually works the best because you need the heat and the light so that she moves out of this one into the new test tube. And then when she's moved over, you just take the piece of cotton, stuff it, and then she's got a new supply of water in this one. And that is basically all that you need to do when she starts running out of water. Back to Carabiner versicolor slings. Is humidity and temperature more important in regards to Carabiner versicolor slings? Do you mean in comparison to adults or in comparison to other spiders? Because that would make a difference in the answer that I should give you. Because in comparison to, let's say, a red-kneed tarantula, it's a massive difference, because the one comes from the desert, the other one not really. Yeah, they really do like humidity, but the Carabiner versicolor likes humidity throughout its entire lifetime. So I don't know if that is specific to slings. I doubt that it's specific to slings, because mine still loves high humidity. She's in there somewhere. Oh, there you can see her legs. There she goes. I actually think this is a he. So he really enjoys humidity. If it's not humid enough inside, he doesn't eat, which confuses my brain. But I would say that you will need the ventilation is always important, but you need good ventilation with the high humidity, which makes life complicated. Because the higher the ventilation, the higher your humidity needs to be. So pleasure Benzie. I don't know if I should show you this. Let's just leave it there for now. But that's really cool. I've succeeded in doing something that I thought I'm gonna fail at, and that's not gonna work, because when I started it, it just didn't. You'll understand when I get there. Time for a really rare insect. I might cause slight bits of lag because I really want to show you this one properly on the camera setup, but I don't know if it's gonna work. So let me just go see why the puppy is freaking out for a moment. I will be back in like 2 minutes. She must be just barking at herself. So let's give you that to look at while I'm gone. That's always a good photo to look at. I'll be back in like a minute, people. And I'm back. I'm just barking at someone walking past, so it's all good. Rare insects. So as far as I know, most of the Formica should be claustral and not semi-claustral. And Germany gets extremely cold during winter, so I think most of them must be claustral, because if they're not, they might freeze and die outside. And I think that completes the answer, Benji. Thank you for the question, Marine Tank Journey. This is going to excite you guys. Well, it excites me extreme amounts, so I hope it does the same for you. Remember the note that I wrote last time that I put in my PC? I rewrote it so that I can fold it up and it's smaller. But that says Nemopterids for the next live stream. This one, after this live stream, is going to be thrown away. Because people, it's a Nemopterid. Focus. Look at that. Well, that's a slight issue. Look at that beautiful, beautiful insect. Yes, the back two extensions are actually very, very extended, specialized wings. They've got little spoons at the end that slightly twist and twirl, as you can see there. But what makes them so cool is that if you put this thing in a bottle, right? Let me get a bottle and explain to you, because that's just going to be easier. If I were to put this insect into this jar, right, it would actually be able to float or to fly, hovering in the middle of the jar without touching the top or the bottom. What's behind me? Aquariums. Whose light's gone off? Let me turn them back on. You see, aquariums, grow out tank, display tank, breeding tank down below. You see the light sticking out there, but we're not there now. So, bottle, Nemopterid, spoonwing. So, spoonwing or lacewing insect. It goes into the bottle, and it will actually be able to fly in the bottle without touching the sides, the top, or the bottom. Because, and this is where it gets interesting, right? Quickly gonna look for it in my book while I explain to you. What they do is they are able to fly without touching the top, bottom, or sides due to their extended back wings and long antennae. So this is very interesting. Missed that message, Martin. I know they're in the book. They're in this book. If you like insects and you stay in South Africa, look into this book. It's not expensive. It's got a lot of nice pictures in it, and it will help you to identify the basic insect that is in South Africa. I'm just looking. Oh, it's a ribbon wing lacewing. Yeah, I agree with Martin's tank talk. You don't need any guts to do a live stream. You just need to talk very long, and always have something to drink by, because your throat gets dry and then you start like struggling to speak. So the ribbon lacewing and the spoon lacewing. I have no idea which one this actually is, which makes life more interesting. I still have to figure that out, which is always difficult. There you can see two different species up there, and the third one over there has got like spoons at the back for the same reason. So what they do is, if you look at those massive long antennae at the top, right? Those massive long antennae over there and there, right? They use those to feel above them, and the wings to feel below them. And what they do then is they can actually fly without touching the top or the bottom, because the antennae, if they touch the bottom, they go down a bit, and if the back wings touch the bottom, they go up a bit. So this is a very interesting insect, and to top it off, ooh, that's really not a good idea, but yes, I know there's a tiny jar attached to that one. I have two. And you see the tiny jar swinging there at the bottom? That little jar. So what you do is you pick a side. I always use the right side of the insect. Never mind. But I like to use the right side of the insect. Then I take off the back or the middle leg, put it in 100% ethanol, because what the 100% ethanol does... No, unfortunately nothing in that Coke, Martin. What that leg is for genetic purposes. So if someone's doing research on this insect, they can actually take that leg out of the alcohol, get 100% pure DNA from it that's not broken down or disrupted by water or something, or by drying out, and then they can do genetic research as well as morphological research, because they've still got one complete side of the insect that is not damaged. So that is why you take off one leg at a time. I'll be taking proper photos of these and then sending them out with my next newsletter. If you haven't signed up for that yet, go look in the description below. I put a link down there. All that I need is your name, your surname, your email address, and then I'll be sending you an email once every 2 weeks, maybe once a week if there's something really cool. Those emails will contain what's happening, what's upcoming, and then you see behind me over there all that stuff. You will be getting, now and again, you'll be getting a free high-resolution image that you can use for your background or for any of those. So keep an eye out for these in the newsletter, and if you would like something of this, a photo specifically of these printed or anything else, drop me an email at, it's literally bugmanslife@gmail.com. Just email me and then we can talk and I can get something for you. Big prints, small prints, I sign them for you, post them to you wherever you are in the world. Martin, you are so kind to check if my phone is actually switched off on the live stream, but it is, so unfortunately nothing there for you. That is what I wanted to talk about as well. Have I shown you the deadliest thing in my room? This can literally put me in a hospital for 2-3 weeks. No, it's not a tarantula. It comes in a little box with a sealable lid, so that I'm sure it doesn't get out. Because if this thing gets out, life is going to be heavily unpleasant. I'm the first person to move out of this house, and that is a guaranteed fact. So for the next moment, I will literally have to turn off all the lights to show you what I want to. Let's leave those on. Let's turn off 3 lights. That one, this one. It might get grainy for a moment. Shit, what did I just do with that thing? Okay, no, it's still here, it's still here. And that one. Now we've got more or less darkness in my room. Thank you, camera technology, that you lighten it up again. No, 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 get back in, get back in! Crazy little bugger. Do you see that? Do you see that? That is Parabuthus transvalicus. Yes, it is a Transvaal thick-tailed scorpion. Let's close it before I get stung and have a bad week further. Close it properly. Then you check that it's inside. You see it's inside. You can see that little thingy in there. You see the tail. Then you know it's inside. You're sure it's closed properly. And then you put it back in the safe house before we continue talking, because I might poke it if I don't think. And poking something like that will be bad and detrimental to my health, which we definitely do not want. I mean, I just finished masters. I can't have hospital problems now. Life's supposed to be to be more peaceful. But the cool thing is, it actually molted. And this little scorpion, there you can see the tiny skeleton that came out. The interesting thing is that you see that tip, right? That's on my cheek there. If I were to poke that into my finger, I would still have problems, because what happens is that that stinger retains some of the venom in it. And when you poke that into your finger, what's going to happen is that the crystallized venom is going to dissolve in your bloodstream again and in your flesh, and you're gonna have exactly the same experience as to when it stung you while it was still part of the scorpion, which makes it really unpleasant. So no, chains are like overkill. Brick on top. You put it inside a reptile cage and close the reptile cage and hope that it doesn't come out through a hole if it escapes. But it won't escape in my room. I'm extra careful of that. One of the other really cool things that I have, this was an experiment that I wanted to try to see if it's possible, to see if it'll work, and to see if it is a viable idea. Now you're all going to say, oh, it's cockroaches, oh, it's that species. No, it's not. It's an indigenous South African species that I actually managed to breed in captivity. So they don't get very big, but just look at all those babies running around. Well, on that side. And oh no, I've got cockroaches all over my room. Spiders are gonna have a feast. So what I did is I saw these in the field for 3-4 years odd, and then I'm like, I wonder whether it would be possible to breed these and to feed them to spiders, scorpions, whatever I have living in my room. So what I did was collected about 15 of them, put them in this exact same tub, and started feeding them. And as I've been feeding them, nothing happened. I think 7 or 8 months, nothing. Not a single baby, nothing. The older ones started dying. I kept on feeding them well, but they keep on dying, and I'm like, failed experiment. Then came spring. Now I might be having issues with this species, but what I want to do is I want to try and set up a colony of these mixed with red-head roaches to see whether I can have a viable colony of cockroaches that's indigenous to South Africa, already occurring most probably outside in everybody's garden, and whether they can be a good food source and breed fast enough to feed the spiders and to keep up with everything in my room that needs a meal once a week, which is getting too many. Too many for the cockroach colony that I have, and then you have to look after one of those thingies for someone, a chameleon, and they eat a lot, way too much. So the cockroach colony that I have of orange spot roaches, dubia roaches, and red-head roaches has been decimated by looking after a chameleon for someone for a week. So that quite sucks, but at least I've got this up and going, and I'm gonna catch more in the future to boost this colony, and then I'm gonna get more red-head roaches and see if I can get them to breed as fast as these, and whether they'll be able to keep up with one another and compete enough for the food within one colony to be viable to keep together and to feed to everything in my room. So that is most of the insect stuff that I have for now. Missed the one light. Is there anybody from South Africa that would want 5 of the Baobab seeds of each? Would like to try and germinate them themselves? If there's someone, drop me an email, and then we can talk about how we're gonna get them to you, whether it's going to be me posting them to you, picking them up, meeting up at a pet shop to see whether we can get some of these to you, to see whether you can get them to germinate. The deal is that if you get them to germinate, if I give you 5 seeds, specifically of these Australian baobabs, the Adonsonia Gregory, Gregory, then I just want one plant back because I don't know how successful I'm going to be at germinating them. I might even give you a whole pot of these because I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 6 of these buds in my room, so I might even give you a whole one of these, just because I don't have enough space to germinate all of them. And then if you can get these to germinate, I just need one back. Yes, please. Martin, do you want to try and germinate them? We will make a plan. I'm sure there's quite a few people that would love the seeds, so okay, so I can give 2 people 5 seeds and then we see who can germinate them the best. And then we can split a seed pod for you guys. I give each one of you a seed pod. The one thing that I would love to do, I don't know if Leon Latergan is in the house or not, because if he is in the house, if he has contact with someone that can feed Baobab seeds to an elephant and then like collect the dung in a huge bucket and bring it to us, that we spread it and we leave it and we see if they germinate from there, I would love to do that experiment. So if there's anybody that has access to an elephant that would love a Baobab pod for lunch, please let me know if you can, if it's possible to even organize it, because I think that would be such a cool experiment. And now I have run out of things around me, so you guys need to ask me questions about what you want to see so that I can take it out for you. Who's this? Is this the right one? Angie, I'm taking out your beautiful little goldeny marine tank journey. Okay, the 2 people that are getting seeds has been confirmed. So we can check who wants it. This is Angie's spider that I'm looking after, one of her 6 that I'm looking after. That is a little goldeny. His name is Nugget, her name, its name. I don't know what it is yet. So, little goldeny tarantula, little beautiful, really calm, peaceful spider. As you'll see, let's just tilt it down a bit. This is one really super chill spider. To get it off my hand is going to be an issue, because I will need to like convince it that it wants to leave. But it's a really peaceful spider. It's like the most peaceful Choco Goldeny that I've seen in my life. And being this small and this calm is only good, because usually at this size they still want to bolt and run around like crazy in my personal experience. So this is really, really cool that it's so chilled and so tame. Tame is not the right word in that sentence, because I don't think spiders ever become tame. They might get used to handling, but they will possibly also bite you if it upsets them slightly. This thing on the other hand likes to bolt around like crazy, so I'm gonna stand up just so that I can see it. Bolt into the other side. There you can see the little orange guy there at the top. Little pumpkin patch. Also one of Angie's spiders. So yeah, there you can see him. There you can see him. I just thought he moved again. But that's the tiny spiders that I'm willing to take out and show to you like that. The other ones are going to run away because they're slightly not all there. I wanted to take out the nice big curly hair that I got from a friend, because he said he doesn't have time to look after her and he thinks she's really unhappy. She wasn't She's doing really, really good, and the only thing is that she's slightly unpredictable. So I don't know whether she wants to bite us. I've only had her for a few weeks, so I still want to make sure that I can actually handle her without like worrying losing a finger in the process. How about the spider lives in your PC? Well, it's directly next to me on this side, next to you guys there, right? Don't get Shomatopelma calceatum. Don't. I lost my mind. And yet, still think it's an awesome spider. This thing is like of life importance in my room now, because the spider has become heavily aggressive, extremely defensive, and extremely beautiful to look at the same time. So to look at her, you need to convince her to come out slightly, and to convince her to come out, it means that you need to open her cage, and to open her cage means that you want to get bit. So it's all fun and games until you've got the cage open and she starts bolting around like crazy, and then you don't know what you're going to do because it feels like she's going to jump on your face and bite you on the nose. But it's all good. My female beta did the strangest thing this morning. She laid unfertilized eggs in her tank with no male. Might be that I'm feeding her too well, or that she's trying to tell me get me a male. I've got no clue why she did that. So I'm in the process to look whether I can find a male for the female beta. And I can't remember what type of beta she is. I think she's a royal blue half moon, so I'm looking for a blue half moon at least of a male. So we'll see what happens. More than that, oh yes, Martin, looky no touchy. Because that spider is going to bite your finger off, and it's going to be an unpleasant experience. I would have launched a video today in which I find other orchids with the orchid specialist or with the botanist, which is really good at identifying plants and talking about them and grasslands and so on. But then I got my marks for my masters, which I passed, so I had to do a bunch of stuff to finish it so that I can hand it in finally and finish it and get it done with. So I didn't have time to edit the video yet. It'll most probably be out on Monday or Thursday next week, so just keep an eye out for that. We do find something really cool that you can't miss, so make sure that if you see it's live that you go check it out. And the orchid that we find is not the same one as in the previous video, so you don't want to miss that. And in the near future I'm planning on doing a video on breeding the dwarf neon rainbows, but I don't have a photo of that. But I basically plan on doing a short video on dwarf neon rainbows, how to breed them, how I've bred them, why I bred them, what the thinking behind breeding them was, what encouraged me to do it. So it might be a slightly longer video, but that's all good. I just need to get this to fit into the screen, right? There you can see, I just quickly overlaid it onto the live stream. Whoo. Martin, a royal blue half moon male? That might give me trouble because I don't have space left, but we'll talk about it. It sounds like a plan. But on the screen now you see the dwarf neon rainbows. I've been promising to make a video about this for quite a while, just haven't gotten around to it, and then the tank got extremely bad algae in which they're breeding on the sides, on the wood, on everything, and then I got 2 ancestress, 5 ancestress that I split to a bunch of tanks. That tank got 3 in it, and what happened is they ate all the algae and messed up the whole tank. So I need to do a proper cleaning of the tank before I show it to you guys. But they're doing really well, and the ancestress and them are strangely enough getting along unexpectedly well, if I can put it that way, because they're in the same tank, they don't bother one another, they don't try and eat each other's food. And the very interesting thing is that I ran out of space to hatch the eggs of the dwarf neon rainbows. So what did I do? I decided that no, what I will do instead of instead of taking the eggs out of the breeding tank and putting them into another tank, hatching them there because the other babies are too big and then they'll bully the small ones and they won't get food and yada yada yada, I decided I'll just leave the eggs, because if they hatch, the parents will eat them up, and then the parents will be in really good condition by the time that I actually want to breed them again. That was a stupid mistake, because what's happening now is I've got, I'll take a guess and say about 50 plus little baby dwarf neon rainbows swimming around in the parents' tank, which I have to go catch out and then set up a tank for to raise them. So the whole plan of the parents going to eat all of them and they're not going to be there and the parents aren't going to be in good health isn't working at all. But I'll get into how to breed them, what I do, how you do it soon. I can't tell you when, because that is a video that I'm still planning the logistics of and everything that I want to put in, and because it's a difficult video. But more than that, I will be going to look for more orchids directly after the next rains, because the pre-rain ones are finished flowering now almost, and the post-rain ones will only come after the rain, hence the name post-flower orchids. I had the same issue the other day, talking about grasslands and fire and flowering, and I ended up saying that the flowers only flower after the flowering instead of after the fire. Bloopers, lots of them. I will be going to look for the orchids that flower post-rain, because they only come out after the rain, so I will need to wait for the rain to come and pass before I can go look for them. Yes, Martin, I figured that out the hard way, that the parents don't eat the eggs or the babies. So by the time you see the video, there might be like lost little ones all over the tank of the parents, because strangely enough the parents don't eat them even if they're swimming in the midst of their food. So that is quite interesting to know that the dwarf neon rainbows don't eat their babies, because I know most of the other rainbows will actually consume the babies. I want to do a test. It's not a smart test, but what I want to do is I want to add a second male into my breeding colony to see whether the competition between the two males will cause them to actually then eat the the babies. So I don't know. A tip for taking spider photos. I think I'll have to do a video on that, because the lighting and everything gets very complicated. But let's go on a tip for arboreal spider. So let's use Carabina versicolor nameless. No, sit still. Sit still. No one's gonna hurt you. No need to freak out. I know you're slightly crazy, but it's all good. Carabina versicolor. Carabina versicolor, however you say that. Yes, Nugget is the name of the little goldenie that was shown. But one important thing of this is never, ever, 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 ever in your entire life take a photo of an arboreal spider with a flash, or a flash gun, or a studio flash, or any form of flash. Not even your phone flash. It is a bad idea. Because what happens if you take a photo with a flash is that the moment that the flash goes off, like so, and so, and so, what happens is you burn out the eyes of the tarantula if it's too close, or if the spider can see it at all. Don't worry, I put in behind a piece of wood here, so it's all fine. But if you put this flash directly on the spider and you flash it, what happens is the eyes of the spider burn out, because the eyes are so sensitive to light, because they don't hunt by touch as all of the other spiders do. Because if terrestrial spiders such as skeleton and the flame leg and all of those that I have in my room, skeleton being the massive giant white knee female, what they do is they can actually sense when something is running past them through the hairs or setae on their entire exoskeleton. The arboreal spiders has the same hairs and setae to feel when something's running past, but because they're staying in trees, if you're on one branch and the cockroach is running past you on the next branch, you will never know that he passed you unless you can see him. That is why they have such good eyesight. And what happens with these tarantulas is that if you flash their eyes, you literally burn out the back of their eyes that catches the light for them to see what is going on. And then I can guarantee it that within 12 to 14 days, that spider will die after taking photos with a flash. If you take photos of something else in the room with a flash, or of the general cage, it's not an issue. Your phone flash, if it's too close, it can still be an issue for the spider, but generally it's not. But if you take, like, let's just get this guy out of here. If I were to take a photo of this guy, flash in pocket so I can't even accidentally fire it, and put the flash over there and take a photo now, this Carabiner versicolor will be dead by next week. It's a fact. Just because they stress a lot easier, and because they don't do well if they can't see. And the same with the Stromatopelma calceatum, the featherleg baboon. Very aggressive. I did, before I learned that, before I figured out what was going on, accidentally killed 2 featherleg baboons by taking photos with a flash, not knowing that it's actually extremely harmful for the spider. So yeah, I also make mistakes from time to time, but that's the way we learn. If we don't make mistakes, we never learn. So, and this beautiful featherleg baboon, I have taken beautiful photos of, and of other arboreal tarantulas, using my tiny light, because this is bright enough to get enough light on it, and then I needed to sit still for an 1/8 of a second maybe, or I just push up my ISO as much as I can, so that I don't have to struggle with too little light or something in the photo. But this little light, if you ever need one, I'm not sponsored. I had to buy it myself, unfortunately. It's a... and you see that little red light, it means it's almost flat. It's an Aperture Amaran ALM9 mini light. It's the size of a bank card, slightly thicker. Got a diffuser that just clicks on front with magnets. Really awesome. It's got 9 light settings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And it's really bright, really nice light to use. Extremely versatile and excellent for macro photography. So if you do a lot of macro photography, that is something that I will say is a must. These work out, depends on where you live in the world. US, they're about, is it about $40, $35, $45, something like that. I'm not sure, but they're not expensive. In South Africa, they're about, exactly this one is about 800 to 1,200 rand, so not too expensive. Way cheaper than a professional flash such as this one. because cheap ones of this that work well enough that you can use them starts at around 3,000, 3,500 at this stage. So a tiny light, way more versatile. You can use it for photos and for video at the same time. So I will suggest that you rather get a tiny constant light like that if you focus on macro photography mostly. Otherwise, if you focus on photography in general, flash might be better because the tiny light doesn't do much. But that's about it, guys. Is there any further questions that I need to answer before we go? Let's give it 5 more minutes and see if there's any questions. If there's no questions, I'll be signing off, and I will be seeing you guys on Monday then. Let's check if there's any questions, and while I'm waiting, you can enjoy the orchid photos. That's not right. That is a lot better. This orchid photo, well, not this one, but the orchid photos are up on the newsletter. If you haven't received the newsletter yet, it means that you need to sign up for the newsletter. So just follow the link down in the description below. And with that first welcome email, you will be getting this specific orchid photo with another one completely free. It's full HD resolution, so you can put it on your PC background and enjoy it. If you want the full high resolution one, you can head over to Shutterstock. It's all down there. All the links to 5 different photos that you can download and buy from Shutterstock if you want it. And that's about it. Thank you very much for tuning in, everybody. I will let you know when the next live stream is coming up. Schedule it slightly further in front. And for those of you that haven't signed up yet, go down to the description below after I end the stream. Click that link, subscribe to the newsletter, and remember to download your photos. I will be taking them down. I said I'll be taking them down today, but I'll take them down on Monday, so you have until Monday to download those photos before you won't be able to access them again. And I guess next time I'll most probably give you another photo, not of an orchid again, and see what else you'd like. That said, if you subscribe to the newsletter and I say that there's photos that's coming for free on the live or on the video,